Right. All right.
You got it?
We
Okay,
got it.
right.
Good.
Okay. So I thought about your four questions. Yeah. So I've got to reply to each of the four questions you sent in the WhatsApp,
Hmm.
which we could do that, which would be really good. Um, and you know that so subsequent to our last meeting, my people at A Million Realities have said, send us a send us a request, a receipt for £2,000.
All right.
That sounds a really good idea because it's meant to develop my skills. So the bit where it's going to be a little bit, we're going to have to play a bit of a game. Yeah,
All right.
is in question four about um, how you're coaching me. I think it'll be okay. I think it's going to make a lot of sense. I'm going
Yeah,
to learn a
actually, it
lot,
will relate.
but it's a
It will
question of
relate.
how we work together.
Okay. So we want to start from the fourth.
Only to say, no, I can do that's just to say that that's the only one I think where we're going to have to play a bit of a game.
It's not a
Yeah.
problem. I tell you how I
Um,
see that, how I
because normally
imagined.
it's for,
So I'll share with you how I imagined the common work.
Mhm.
Uh, I think now we have to set some
Okay.
details, which I'm gonna share with you about the story building, story structure. So you have to decide
Mhm.
this actually, not me. And
Mhm.
then you will help me, and together we will decide about style, like animation style. I think we got some glitches, so I'm not sure you can hear me.
Your audio is really, I think I'm going to turn off my camera because the audio is really bad.
Ah, all right.
Okay.
Okay, let's try.
Okay.
Tell me if it's
Um,
still glitching.
okay.
Okay, so I'll start
Yeah.
from the beginning.
I
How we
think
see that? We need to set some structures,
your
which is
audio is really,
it all right now?
um, it's a bit broken up. Do you
Oh,
want to turn your camera off and see if it's better? It's using less width.
let's see. Let's see if it's better or
Yeah.
not. Okay, I'll try again. Do you hear me?
Okay. That sounds better.
All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
we have to set one, the story structure, second, the artist style, and actually this is
Yeah.
something we're gonna do today. Then I'll take a week, maybe two, to have the whole structure of the movie, of the episode. And then after that, we have to work
Okay. This is really
together.
bad. I'm going to go on
Oh,
this sound bad.
uh, so maybe I need to change the
This is
position.
really bad. I'm hearing only one in every word. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to try my phone. Yeah.
No, maybe it's mine.
Let's see what it might be. Um,
But I changed the location now, so let's see, maybe it will be better. Just a
okay.
second.
Let's try for a bit. It still sounds really broken.
Yeah, and if
No,
it's
it's
like
not
that,
good.
it's a shame, so I try to fix that.
Okay.
All right, let's see if it makes any difference.
That does sound a little better. Let's just carry on and see where we are.
All right.
Okay. Okay, go for it.
All right. So I talked about this meeting that we need to build a structure, which is the story and the artistic style.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
after we set this, I think I'll take a week or two to build the story, like the whole video, and then I will share it with you, and then we can deep into details together. I think
Right.
that's work frame I see, the
Okay.
workflow. How is that sound for you?
So I haven't decided yet whether the single character story or the all the characters works best. Um, but when I saw your little storyboard, your little narrative for Henry, I really liked it, and I've played around with that
Uh-huh.
as if it was one of the characters from the foundation I'm working with. So there's one particular guy for whom that story would fit really nicely, and we can sort of have a look at that and go, oh yeah, okay, those the way you're visualizing um, the sort of metaphorical, the sort of lovely imagery, things blending and colors coming into it,
Mm.
that would work really well. So in a bit, we could have a look at. I've called him Sam
All right.
because Sam is like could be any gender, and I'm working with 4 or 5 women and 3 men. So I didn't
Mm.
want to just assume that we would work with a guy. So I've just called him Sam or her Sam, like Samantha or Sammy. Yeah.
Mm.
But I really liked it. Um, and I like the way you're visualizing, I say, the use of color and becoming more vibrant as ideas start to coalesce for the person. I really like the fact that was
Cool.
you can
Cool.
feel the momentum building as the ideas were being formed.
Mm.
Okay. But it doesn't mean I'm committed yet to that,
All right.
and I'll explain why. So I'll just take you through my thinking. So when we think about the AMR experiment,
Mm-hmm.
the experiment is about 8 people coming together. Now, it is also about 8 people on individual journeys. So it's a question of um, which one suits the storytelling best. And
Mm.
I think, like we talked about last time, trying to tell a story of 8 people, all of those people can get lost.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't really pick up. So if we use the eight, it's not about the 8 people. It's about they're on the journey, and what matters is showing the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're almost featureless, although they're obviously we want to capture who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing that's happening with the A Million Realities is this journey, as you say, from human being to human doing.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of those moments is captured over the 2 years in these like rites of passage where people are separated from their everyday lives,
Mm-hmm.
taken somewhere to be together, taken through lots of challenges, emotional and physical, and then there's a period of like honoring and witnessing the change. And maybe the word would be like a commitment or a pledge of what you're going to do with the learning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the idea being that the social experiment is that work in the first year transforms the work in the second. So, social entrepreneurship becomes more powerful and effective when you don't start with social entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, I really like that. And I know that the AMR, the A Million Realities, want to tell the story of that experiment. So, that's the big story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you've got, I'll take a pause. Right. That's the big story.
All right. So can I share with you the
Yeah.
conflict I hear from you?
Yeah.
What's the conflict I hear? So I think all the time you told me about the big story, I saw Ken Robinson's video in my mind.
Okay.
Because his video is not about the personal journey at all. It's just about like a presentation who presents ideology,
Yeah.
which is actually it's a great video. It's a
Yeah.
very good one. Yeah. So the conflict is between, as I see it, present people ideology, and the other option is to share a story about individual journey that includes the ideology. From my
Agreed.
perspective, the personal story is stronger,
Mm-hmm.
but as I saw it at the beginning when we just talked the first time, it's not one product, and that's all. Like I saw the whole package, like the story of each individual, and also a longer but still a short video about the ideology.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's all about budget, but I think that would be the best. But then you come and you came and the people let in charge about the budget, and it's up to
yeah,
you.
yeah, exactly. So I agree with that. So, the decision is whether to try and tell the ideological story. This is the experiment. These people don't matter so much. What matters is they're just examples of an experiment.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it works, hey, look at all this work that happens as a result, and it's better work. And you're right, because
And I
actually,
think it's also more effective actually, because when you hear a story from a first body storyteller, it's more effective. From my perspective.
yeah, and that's why I really like the Henry story, because it captures a lot of the AMR journey, but it's a bit like doing it like a ninja.
What do
It's
you mean?
it's not so expositional. Ninja, it happens secretly under the surface. Yeah. A lot of the storytelling. So you've got the person going through their journey, but it's the metaphors and the images which tell the story.
I think it's up to us how we tell his story, because it can be like a ninja, and it can be like starting as a ninja, like a kid who tells that who could never heard his inner voice, but then apparently in the end he said, and I could got these achievements just because this program who helped me to hear my inner voice, like
Yeah.
say all the subtext. He can do that.
Yeah.
He can
But
do that.
I think Henry does. Henry. So Henry is talking about where he's struggling. And then you've got this moment where he meets the elders. And every time he has his voiceover, so his voiceover is the exposition. This is what's happening to me. This is what I'm realizing. But there's a lot happening in the visuals, which is like both these things are happening. And I do like it. I'm just saying I'm a bit stuck at the moment about which way to go, but that's fine. Okay, so
Can I ask you a question? I think it's
yeah,
the most important detail to know for having this decision. What is the audience target?
okay, so I've thought that through. In the original artist brief I shared with you to get the 20,000, I take the AMR through it, but essentially, so the primary objective in the audience, they're a bit similar, yeah. So the primary audience is, let's call it a legacy tool for AMR. So what it is here's an example of what you do in a way which you can show to your AMR, a million realities people, cohorts from the past, cohorts from the future. And this is the journey. This is our concept. But that's also got I think it's got a load of value for in the world of social entrepreneurship to say, here's a new model. And not only is here a new model, here's a new model that has led to this work. And it to transform the way people work around youth or other areas which are like social need. And then there's a wider audience because it's quite playful. And it's sort of thing that you could imagine getting lots of hits on YouTube because it's sort of really interesting set of stories. And that's just like the general, okay, so people get to know about AMR, they get to know about the idea of doing some work on yourself before you begin to dive into the serious job of investing money. So three tiers of audience. And then the primary objective is to tell the story and show the impact. There has to be a bit of impact, like what did this lead to? Which is, I like the Henry story. He goes, look what I've done. And then you've got the flowers developing the garden. Yeah. Which is a lovely metaphor for this blossoming. Now, when we come to look at Sam's story, which is around rites of passage, it's very similar. And I'll take you through the visuals. And I think it works. And it would be a really good prototype.
Sam, it's imaginary character that you developed, right?
Yeah, Sam is
But
your Henry. Sam
you
is
told me there is a program who already ran.
how do you mean? That yeah, there has been. So this is the third cohort. So this is the third run of this 2-year program.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow. So
So
it means that there is an existent examples.
there are existing examples. There is success, but this is the first time that 8 people have come together from the same area of children's rights and children's care and youth work. This is the first time. So all 8 of us are involved in the same area of social change.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, which is why the story of the 8 gets a bit interesting, because this is the first time you bring 8 people who've all got an interest in one part of social change.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So, um, so the primary objective is to show the social experiment in action, so people get a feel of what the journey's like. Number one, human being, human doing. To map that journey in a way which is like just like interesting and makes you curious. To reveal some of the key aspects of that journey, which are things like separation from everyday life,
Hmm.
personal transformation, challenge, ritual, dance, music, nature are all part of it, which you've captured with Henry's story, because you've got him in the sea or in the ocean and all things like that. Yeah. So it's honoring the fact that nature has a really big part to play. And somehow to show, if it's a 1 minute story of Sam or Henry, that it's had an impact. It is creating social change. And your story of Henry has the garden blooming, metaphorical for lots of things. Yeah. So I think the little prototype you put together does quite a lot already. Um, yeah, and it allows each person to have their own unique flavor, like
Yeah.
their own,
You
yeah, their
know,
signature.
Sean, when I created the prototype of Henry, I didn't meant to make a video about him. It was just an example I want to share with you how I see the story. And
Yeah.
I thought we could or even need to take one of the students that already got the program.
Now these, okay, so this is where I think we get it. So these are adults on the program, like me, right? These are not students. We are working on behalf of. These are all like people like super powered in their own areas of life. People who are heads of charities running massive school development programs. We're doing this for the kids, where the rites of passage program is we are putting together to make sure that hundreds of thousands of kids get it. It's
Wow.
it's not
I'm
the kid.
sorry, I think that's the first time I realized what you're saying about
Yeah,
because you say no, it's us and I didn't understand, but you
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. This is the first time I understood. I'm sorry about it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And I
But
wondered why
okay.
Henry seemed incredibly cute and teenage, and I thought that's fine.
Ah,
You know,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Yaniv is like, okay, that's a sort of cartoony thing, but I imagined the people would be quite caricature anyway. Um,
Uh-huh. Okay.
yeah,
But I have to understand. You did it because you wanted to experience yourself, your program before you do it with teenagers.
okay, so yeah, I think even when we met last time, I didn't explain it well enough. So we,
Or I didn't understand it well. Yeah.
whichever way. So Antonia brings together 8 experts in children's rights and youth work. They are
Okay.
heads of
Okay.
charities, CEOs of schools, 8 of us. We're all like, you can imagine how many egos there are in a single room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no room for this many egos,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. 8 of us come together, and her view is the first year, you don't even talk about what you do, it's
Hmm.
about who you are. First year, get together, do the work on your shadow self, do family constellation therapy, do breath work, do dancing, do singing, um, go into the desert and camp, all this stuff.
Wow.
And then only in the second year, when you've created connection with each other and trust, do you begin to explore the idea of what idea do you want to work on? Out of the human being will come an idea, she thinks, that will be more aligned to the real truth, more able to sustain, more energy and enthusiasm, because it comes from a team who are really coherent.
All right. So
Yeah.
you experienced all of this already.
All of it.
You.
All of it. Yeah.
Wow. Where did you go?
So we went to Morocco,
Wow.
a week in Morocco. I mean, some of it was a little bit. So, for example, our desert trek, remember, Antonia is a wealthy millionairess who lives a very privileged life.
All
So
right.
her idea of a holiday is the Maldives, right? My
Hmm.
idea of a holiday is a 50-mile camel trek into the desert. That's a holiday. But
Hmm.
she thinks a camel trek is 2 kilometers through the desert to a camp that's been set up by fake Bedouin.
Wow.
Okay, they're not really Bedouin. They're young guys from the university in Marrakesh, right? All that sort of stuff, right? But everyone fell for it,
Okay.
right? Remembering that some of these people, for them, riding a camel for 2 miles, 4 or 5 kilometers, sleeping under the stars, making their own tagine, is like the most amazing thing they've ever done, right?
All
So,
right. Yeah, it's amazing. I've done it many times. Not on camels, but yeah.
yeah, me too. I've camped in the Sinai and the Negev and up in the Golan Heights back in the 80s and early 90s,
Cool.
all that, right? And for me, that's an adventure.
Hmm.
But this was still an adventure.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
went to
indeed.
Morocco and we stayed in a Moroccan, would have been an original fortress, a castle, which has been turned into a hotel. So this woman spends huge amounts of money on us, right?
Hmm.
It's very beautiful. It's got those ochre orange colors. It's burnt desert colors. It's the Atlas Mountains with snow on the top in the distance. It's beautiful, right?
Hmm.
And she thinks the best way, and I'm not sure I agree because it looks very privileged, but she thinks the best way to do this work is to take people into environments where they will be stretched and uncomfortable,
Hmm.
which have got amazing stories that go with them. So she wants the landscape and the history of the country to work, yeah, for the people. So we go
Hmm.
to Morocco, then we go
Okay,
to
okay.
Scotland, and she hires a sort of pretend castle ish. It's a little bit like a Scottish castle on a loch on a Scottish lake, and it's
That
November.
sounds a very fancy program.
It's a really
You
fancy program.
you've been taking part of. How I have to understand. So there isn't a plan to do it for kids. It's just your plan to do what you just experienced, right?
So, so then you go through this journey, and then she says to us at the end of your second year, I have a lot of money. I'm really happy to give you if you can come up with some programs that will change young people's lives.
All right. So you
Okay.
said I have a plan. Let's do what I just experienced for kids.
Yeah. Which
Because I
is,
believe in that. It helped me a lot.
yeah.
All
And
right. You
and our
see,
big,
I it's important I realize that now
yeah.
because I couldn't understand it last time. Yeah, now it's okay, it's important. All right.
So the big program that we think will change young people's lives is to take them through meaningful rites of passage. Yeah.
Mm,
We're not going to take them to Morocco. We're not going to take them to Scotland,
yeah.
but we are going to get them to do, this work on themselves. So they move from stage to stage in their lives. And the experience we have working in other cultures is that those things transform how a young person sees themselves, understand themselves, how they connect with other people, their purpose, their identity, all this, right? And we've been on a 2 year rite of passage to get us there. And they're going to get beautifully crafted rites of passage but we have to start training the youth workers to be able to do it because
All
it
right.
doesn't exist in the
All
UK
right.
very much. Now,
Mm.
I don't know about Israel, whether there are rites of passage programs, whether it's, into the desert with Jimmy Jolly's climbing or whatever, but there's going to be some rites of passage. Your bat mitzvah, your bar mitzvah is a rite of passage. Whether there's much else,
Mm.
yeah.
All right.
So imagine it's a bit like a mountain that we've climbed a mountain. At the peak of the mountain is the idea, but the
Mm.
idea works because of the foundation of the mountain, which has been built on an incredibly strong foundation in that first year of human being. That's the concept.
All right. I just want to share with you some thoughts I
Yeah.
understood this last minutes. The first is that the fact that it's the first time that 8 people from the same area came together to this program, I don't think it's important for the reasons you described me. Okay? This is how
Mhm.
I see it. I
Mhm.
mean, the important stuff that I understand from you, it's first to create a program for kids, teenagers. This is the first goal, right?
Mhm.
To create a program like that. The second is to create a video that shows the vision and will makes people to be part of it, or even investors to to put some budget in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the last stuff I said, it's two stuff because it's for locals, for people, and also for founders. But we have just 10 minutes, and then we'll have to have another Zoom because the time is done. But the fact that these 8 people met together, it is your experience. It's beautiful, but I'm not sure it served the goals as I see it. Maybe I don't understand you well. Oh, you are on mute, so I can't hear you.
Okay. So it is true that they could have put the 8 of us together in a British pub over 2 pints of beer each, and we would have come up with these ideas, right?
All right.
This is why the experiment's interesting, because the 8 of us could have said, what are the problems facing young people today? They're in the foster care system, they're in the education system, they're in lack of ritual. Yeah, we could have done that. And then we'd do the problem, and then the 8 of us would spend 2 years trying to solve the problem. And the social experiment is you don't start there. You start by bringing people together um, to do work on themselves, and then you see what they identify as a problem, and
For
then you see
sure.
the way they solve the problem
Mm-hmm.
and continue working with it is quantifiably different
Mm-hmm.
than the other journey of can you 8 clever people find a problem to solve?
Yeah, yeah. I don't want you to understand me wrong. I think what you've done, it's amazing. It sounds crazy, and actually it's also very practical because now you have a project you want to develop through this program.
Yeah, yeah,
I just ask a question. Now, okay, you experience that program. Now you have an idea of a project you want to develop.
yeah.
Do we need to tell your own experience, or we can develop a product as a short movie or short series of episodes that explain the idea you got? It's a question. I don't know. Now
Yeah.
you have to say. But I think that if we are going on the direction of personal story, I think we should tell your story, not just create a story of a kid
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should tell the story of,
because it's strong.
yeah. And I think some of the fellows that I've worked with, some of the other 7 have got amazing stories, amazing. One
Yeah,
guy's,
that sounds interesting actually. Sounds
yeah.
amazing.
So 8 people who've never met meet in an airport coffee shop 2 years ago and have been on this like collective journey of coherence and connection and trauma, and we've cried and laughed and gone crazy, all that stuff. So there's a lot of really interesting storytelling in there. Yeah.
Mm.
So I think we're left with three potential narratives now, aren't we? One is the individual story. One is, oh, maybe the rites of passage story is more interesting, which would like we've got an idea for the program. We've got a load of really good research on what we want to do.
Mm.
A meeting like really the best of the best to talk about it. But that's a long way away from becoming a project. This is just an idea. Yeah. And then we've got the AMR concept, the ideology of this is the way you create a team that are going to make a real difference.
So I think I know, I don't know the answer, but I know how to find it. And
Okay.
I learned it from my father. Are you ready? It goes like that. What does your heart want the most that will be the result of the process you've been through?
Okay.
Not the video your heart wants. What the project you want to do.
Okay.
Can you describe that? Maybe
can.
it's not a project for kids. Maybe it's for human being. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not thinking about this is not a story to show in schools. In my mind, this is a story that goes into the world of social entrepreneurship where people say this social experiment is another way to make a difference with a team. Yeah. And one could do you don't have to do the Morocco, you don't have to do the Scotland and France journey. What you need is separation, personal work with real experts, rituals, not just talking, but dance and music and poetry and walking in the landscape and throwing yourself into lakes. You can do that for not very much money, but it transforms a team. So I like that. I'd like to tell the story of how you create a different sort of team through this human being, human doing process. That's what I'd like to capture.
Okay, so what I hear from you is that you would love to create a program, but actually, the thing you would like to do more is to tell a story about your experience.
Or everyone's experience, capturing some of
On
the.
the team experience, let's say.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but that's interesting you more than create a program.
yeah. Because I'll tell you why, Yaniv.
Yeah,
Because the
I say it and everything is cool. I just want
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
develop a story at the end. I just need
yeah.
to understand where is your heart.
So, so I can see myself playing a small role in the rites of passage work because
Hmm.
my heart is in SANS and other work in my school. I've only got so much time to give to another project. I can imagine myself in the role of an elder, playing some part, advisory, mentoring.
Hmm.
But I think there's some of those younger people who are 20 years younger than me, who are still like hungry for this stuff. They're going to take it,
All right.
right? So that's cool, completely cool. Um, so the project is less interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because when it goes national, the relational element disappears. And what most inspires me is relational work, which is more intimate on a smaller
All
scale.
right. Okay. So let's have a product which is a story of. It can be a movie or either episodes about this story you want to tell.
Great,
Right.
perfect.
All right.
Mhm.
And the audience target is when you look at some eyes and you want to tell this story, who do you imagine? You
Okay,
talked about younger entrepreneurship. Maybe that's the audience.
so if I'm thinking so I still want to make a difference. I'm just not sure I want to be part of the difference, right?
Hmm.
So that I'm visualizing how can we have the greatest impact and change minds? Because what I want to do is change minds about this social experiment.
Hmm.
So I'm imagining an audience are people with the funders who've got lots of money who go, oh my God, I would like to sponsor a program like this. CEOs of companies who go, I'm going to take 10 of my people on some of these journeys because I think it's going to change the way my company works.
Mm.
That's what I'm thinking. So I'm happy to work on that macro scale. Yeah. But I'm not thinking that I'll be playing like a day-to-day part of the rites of passage UK innovation thing. I don't think. Yeah.
So, okay, maybe another question. At the end, in your point of view, at the end of this video, is there a call of action? Call for action? It's important.
Yeah, right. I hear it. I hear it. So
Yeah.
I think there are two ways you work. One is you can work really intentionally. That what you're saying is basically it's the sort of thing you show to funders. Um, this is what we'd like you to support. My intention is to get loads of money out of you, and the other is to release something into the ether, into the universe,
Mm.
which has an effect, but you're not so determined of the effect. You just want to get the story there and have a faith that it will work. Now, that's a little bit like I've worked a lot of my life. Um, doesn't mean it's been very effective, right?
It's beautiful.
Otherwise,
I related to that.
yeah. But it would mean if it had really worked, there'd be 50 SANS schools around the planet. And in fact, there's one, right?
Mm.
So sometimes being a bit more mercenary really matters. So thinking about when designing the film, what are the bits in the design which you know will influence the target audience does matter. It's not just beautiful